Well, obviously another big SEC weekend. Had a good win last night on the road, and we're ready to get on the bus and head to Auburn and see what we can do down there. It's a really good team, really strong team, very few weaknesses. They do a lot of things well, so be a great challenge on the road in the SEC.
All right, we'll open questions. Start with Colin.
And Mark, I'm just curious, I think these next 6 games are all against SEC teams. Just how pivotal is this stretch for you guys in terms of getting back to close to 500 in league play and trying to position yourself for that NCAA tournament?
Yeah, Colin, every game at this point feels very important to us. And even last night, it felt like an important game because we've lost a lot of our room for error at this point. So every game feels important. The SEC games just even more so. But I think if you're a player, you love to play in important baseball games. We talked about that before Game 3 against Ole Miss. Big games, important games, pennant race type games should be what you love to play in. And when you're the right kind of player, those games even get you more excited. So that's how we're going to embrace it.
Michael?
Yeah, Mark, just to piggyback off of what you just said, I mean, watching this team, especially the Ole Miss weekend, it seems like guys are loose, having fun in the dugout, the coon skin cap that they have and just all the things that they're doing. How are guys handling, some of the pressures that come with, late in the season with these big games, and how important is it to sort of maintain that looseness?
Yeah, I think there's just such a fine line because you want them to be loose, but you want them to be focused. You want them to be intense, but you don't want them to be tight. So I think when you have guys like Eister and Seitler and those kind of guys, the older guys, it can kind of set the tone. The younger guys follow suit generally. So we have a team, and we've talked about it many times throughout the year, where baseball can beat you up, adversity can beat you up. So we want to try to have fun through this process, through the struggles. And I think our guys are doing a really nice job with that. We've learned how to take a punch or 2 or 3 this year and just keep coming back fighting. And so at the end of the day, it's about staying resilient, staying in a fight, but trying to enjoy it and have fun as well. And I think on most days, our guys are doing a nice job with that.
Colin?
Mark, just how important has Noah kind of been to this rotation, not only giving you quality starts, but giving you some depth there to not tax the bullpen maybe as much as you can?
Extremely important. Extremely important. His development has been one of our biggest keys this year to still staying in this fight, still having a chance at the end. Everything about his game has gotten better. He's a competitor. He loves the ball. And the guys are confident when he's on the mound because they know how hard he competes and they play well behind him. So his development has been huge for us this year. No question about it.
And I guess just how tough is that for a guy that was probably looked on as kind of a Swiss Army knife going into the season to have to stretch into a starter and have to do it against Texas, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, Georgia, those teams?
Yeah, it's tough. It's very impressive on his part. Again, when we brought him over from App State, we figured this would be a really nice bullpen piece to add to what we already had. And at the time, we thought we would have a lot more healthy pitchers like the Bosniks of the world and those type guys. But that's not the situation we're in. And so his role has really grown and he's just taken it and run with it. And that's what you love to see when guys get opportunities and bigger roles. You love to see him take advantage of it. And he's done exactly that.
Michael?
Yeah, along those lines, I remember you mentioning Matthew Becker and his development and how, maybe if you guys had used him differently earlier on, might have a few more SEC wins. Just curious about how you guys feel about the formula that you have with your pitchers, with your bullpen, with your key guys in Austin and Becker, and where the comfort level is with that, and if that could change or evolve at all down the stretch.
Well, with our team, Michael, anything can evolve at any time. Again, our job now is to continue to be creative, to be resilient, and to try to find the best ways to win the most amount of games. And I think we have a pretty decent formula right now. I think it's the best formula for this team in 2022. And so we just need to keep rolling with it. And again, ever since that North Carolina game in Charlotte, I think this formula has been pretty darn good. One of the games against Georgia slipped away right before we started to go in this direction. But for the most part, we're doing what I think we can do. And again, it's creativity, it's strategy, it's all those things that go into trying to give yourself the best chance to win the most games. And that's what we're going to continue to do.
John?
What stands out to you most about Auburn offensively and Sonny? I'm not sure how you say his last name. DiChiara.
Well, he obviously has been a huge pickup for them this year out of the transfer portal. He's arguably maybe the most successful statistically, the best hitter in our league this year. It's pretty impressive. The average, the power, the on-base percentage. He obviously is the centerpiece for their offense. But outside of that, they don't strike out a whole lot. They get on base, and they have guys that give you quality at bats. So I would say that's kind of the definition of the Auburn offense is a lot of tough at bats, not a lot of strikeouts, and then they have that centerpiece there right in the middle of it.
Phil Kornblut.
Hey, Mark. Good morning.
Hey, Phil.
You said earlier in the week you'd have some news on Bosnick for us today. Is there anything to report there?
Yeah, Julian will miss the remainder of the season. He's going to have a minor elbow procedure here shortly. It's a 3 to 4 month recovery, so he will miss the remainder of the season. And then I'll beat all you guys to the punch when you're asking about our rotation this weekend. Brett Thomas will start game 1. So not to steal your thunder, guys, but there's your opening starter as well. So Julian will miss the remainder of the season, and Brett will start on Friday.
Colin.
Mark, you obviously faced two of the best pitching staffs to start league play in Tennessee and Vanderbilt. Have you seen the progress you wanted to from your offense in the 3 weeks after that? And maybe what's the next step for you guys as you get into the back half of SEC play? Really
in baseball, it's all about matchups. It's about what are your hitters good at and what type of pitcher are you facing? And so I think, again, when you face the best pitching in the country like we do in the SEC, it's going to help guys get better, especially the young guys who've never seen this kind of pitching before. And so that will help the development of the Braswells and the Hornings and the Stones and the Lee Croys and on and on. We've got obviously a ton of freshmen playing. So those guys are all seeing this kind of pitching for the first time. So each time you see that pitching as a young player, you'll have a little bit better chance the next time you see it. I think for our older guys have seen this kind of pitching most of their careers, the Eisters, the Belks. And so I think with them, it's just a matter of how do we match up in that given day in terms of what our strengths are and what the pitcher's strengths are.
John?
Yeah, you mentioned Brett Thomas. What makes you want to go with him on Friday, and what kind of opportunity does that present for him?
Well, it's a big opportunity, no question. We just talked about a couple minutes ago about really enjoying to see guys run with big opportunities, and this is a big opportunity for him. We've picked him because his development since coming back from the injury has been pretty impressive. Last time out, he's throwing his breaking ball for strikes, which is a plus pitch. Fastball was in that 92 to 93 range, and he was throwing strikes. So we think at this point that he's the best move, and so we're going to take a look at it. See how it goes, and then we'll evaluate from there.
Any more questions for Coach? All right. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Mark.